Hello, everybody. Welcome back to Dice Masters with James and Zach. I'm Zach, and it is release week, at least here in the United States, for the Mighty Thor new set for Dice Masters, another Marvel set. We've had quite a few of those recently. My local store is pretty good about ordering sets in, but they're always about 2 days behind release. So today is Friday, and they just got them in. And it's a little late to do this live, so we're just going to record this. I had originally planned on getting a display, a countertop display of the draft packs, and I pre-ordered one from my store, and they ordered two, one for me, and somehow they only got one in. It sounds like a lot of stores are having problems with distribution on the draft packs. That seemed like it was a big thing in Tool Annihilation. It seems like it's coming up again. And I kind of wanted to go through an entire set of draft packs, but instead I've got a gravity feed, and hopefully that means about the same. When I open my Tomb of Annihilation display, and that's on the channel. I don't think I counted them up on the stream though. It was about as much as opening up a normal gravity feed. I think I got 16 or 17 rares. I didn't quite get a full set of uncommons, but the last few gravity feeds I haven't gotten a full set of uncommons just with one feed anyway. So anyway, yeah. So I won't get any basic actions. Those are only in the draft packs. But I should probably get about as many commons, uncommons, rares, and super rares as if I'd opened up a whole countertop display anyway. I'm going to a draft this weekend, so I'll probably see if I can trade for some of the basic actions anyway. So starting off with, I did manage to get the Heimdall promo. This is a promo of the common Heimdall. And it's a pretty neat alt art. It is full art. It continues down here. The ability is that he's immortal, and when fielded, you draw a die. If it's a character with immortal, you field it for free at level 1. Otherwise, you prep the die. He's got a total fielding cost of 8, which I was trying to think of this earlier. I don't remember how many others. I think there's a couple other characters, but not many that have a total fielding cost of 8. Or 7, sorry. But his global is to pay a mask, and then once per turn, on your turn, you may prep 2 Psychic dice from your use pile. So that's the old Professor X global, which means people are calling this the HXG. I might actually use the promo for HXG purposes, in which case it'd be nice to have, but I probably am not going to be thinking about purchasing or fielding that card, but still pretty cool. And so let's get into it. We got 90 packs to get through. We'll see how we can do it. I have been keeping up with the spoilers for this set, so I've seen probably all the cards. I don't have all the dice memorized or anything. Looks like starting off, we've got a Thor and an Iron Man. These look like they are similar dice to the old Age of Ultron ones. Now there's a male Thor and a female Thor. So let's see, I've got the common Iron Man. Amalgam of Metal. He says Iron Man gets +1 defense for each opposing villain character die in the field zone. All right. And the uncommon Thor. This looks like it says the male Thor, so the blue die there. 7 cost. This is the uncommon. While Thor is active, when you would take damage, redirect it to Thor. That's whenever you would take damage. That's pretty neat. Global, pay double bolts. Once per turn, deal 1 damage target character die. Nice to have a ping global on something that isn't magic missile, but at the same time, double takes 2 energy for it. Kind of nice that it's just a wall active every time you take damage related to Thor, and he can take a lot. He's got 6 or 8 or 8. It's a little bit harder to get out than Super Rare Ronin, but pretty effective when you've got him out there. All right. We have got, okay, so this one's Heimdall, so that's the same die there. I don't actually know what that other one is. We'll find out in a second. And there is that common Heimdall the All-Seeing. So we've got him already there. We'll put him off to the side. This is Volstagg. Yes, Volstagg, the common Volstagg. This one has Overcrush. While Volstagg is active, Hogan and Fandral get +2/+2 and gain Overcrush. As a pretty sweet combo if you can get all 3 of them out. They all end up sort of fluffing each other one way or another. Although they're not. This is very cheap. So, not sure how possible it is. Okay, Beta Ray Bill and something. All right. Beta Ray Bill, prevent the first 2 damage to each Beta Ray Bill character die each turn. I don't know much about Beta Ray Bill. He was in the Guardian set, and he wasn't particularly good there. Doesn't mean he's particularly good here. Oh, it's Malekith. I got all excited when I saw the shiny, but it is the uncommon Malekith. It's a foil. I know that there's a super rare version of this. We'll hope to get that one because it's about the only good super rare in the set. While Malekith is active, your sidekick character dice get +1/+1 and gain the villain affiliation. Pretty neat. I'm always a big fan of sidekick teams in general, just kind of stylistically, and being able to give them villains means you can do all kinds of shenanigans with other villain characters. I look forward to playing around with that one. So we have got Sif. This is the common. Sif has Immortal. New keyword in Thor is Immortal, which means basically if they're going to the used pile, except for the very first time when you purchase them, they go to your bag instead. So if they go through unblocked, I imagine if there are other game effects that send them to the used pile, like uncommon Namorita, if she KOs them and they would go to use, they just go to your bag instead. So that could be kind of interesting, but they all are very expensive. While Thor is active, Sif gets +3 attack. So little synergy there if you can get them out in a draft. This is the uncommon Fandral. This one has Deadly, which means that if he is engaged with anything, attacking or blocking, then they are KO'd, no matter if they're taking lethal damage or not. And while Fandral is active, Hogan and Volstagg get +2/+2 and Deadly. So Volstagg gives them +2/+2 and Overcrush. He gives +2/+2 and Deadly. So you can see how getting Hogan, Fandral, and Volstagg would be pretty good. We have got another Heimdall, and getting stuck in there. Oh, it's the action Billy Club. So that is the common Billy Club. Deal 2 damage to target character die, and if it's on the burst or double burst phase, if Daredevil is active, also deal 2 damage to another target character die or opponent. So, not bad. It's a cheap action, a little bit of removal. If you can do a little Daredevil synergy, which is kind of fun thematically, there are not a lot of them that rely on characters in that way. 2 damage to another character die or opponent, which means it could deal 2 damage to a character, 2 damage to an opponent. That's pretty good for a 2-cost action, but only if you're building around Daredevil anyway. I have the Rare Heimdall as our first rare. Rare Heimdall has Immortal. When fielded, draw and roll 1 die for each character die with Immortal in the field zone. Yeah, I'm just probably not gonna ever field Heimdall. Fielding costs are 2/2/3. He has really good stats: 6/6, 7/7, 8/8. If you were playing an Immortal themed deck, that would be really good, and you would need the ramp because these are 7 cost. But yeah, still got that same global though. It's the Professor X global, just with a little only once per turn, not quite as good. Sorry, I realized I had 2 different piles of commons there. All right, we have got a Pepper Potts, and looks like someone holding some flame. We'll find out what that one is in a second. Same Pepper Potts die as the Age of Ultron. Crystal. Gotcha. So Crystal, this is the common. While Crystal is active, during your roll and reroll step, you may reroll your action dice an additional time. It sounds like it's still during the roll and reroll step, so it wouldn't prevent Scarlet Witch, because that Scarlet Witch's effect is during the roll and reroll step as well. So if you came up as an energy face and you couldn't reroll Scarlet Witch, I don't think that would prevent you. But helps you if you really need a couple of actions to come out. This is the uncommon Pepper Potts. While single Pepper Potts character die is the only character die in your field zone, she gets +3/+3. I mean, it didn't work back when it was for Flash and the Justice League. I mean, if she's the only die you have in the field, she's a 4/4, 4/6, 5/5. She's actually, I think she might be the only character that has less defense at level 3 than she does at level 2. Maybe I'm getting that wrong, but it's not very common. Why would I want to have a character die where if she's the only one in the field, her best stats are 5/5? Because then I either attack with her and then hope my opponent doesn't have anything in the field. I don't quite get that one. I'm glad to see Pepper Potts back in Modern, but that is not the way to do it. All right, we've got Volstagg again, and we've got what looks like to be a Mjolnir. So we've got the common Volstagg again, Overcrush, and the uncommon Mjolnir. Deal 1 damage to target character die for each bolt in your reserve pool, and then on the burst or double burst, also deal that same amount of damage to target opponent. So some good direct damage. Expensive though, 5 cost. Maybe you could find a way to make that work. You could always use it and then spend the energy, which is always nice. But yeah, I don't know about that one. We got Iron Man and Loki. This was true in the X-Men First Class set as well, but they're reusing dice a lot recently. These are all dice symbols, and I have to check, but I think the stats might be the same as the ones from older sets like Age of Ultron. So here's Loki. He also has Immortal. And he's got the magic affiliation, which is kind of neat. While Loki is active, whenever a global ability is used, any player may pay a bolt to cancel it. So you can use a bolt to cancel your opponent's globals, but they can also pay a bolt to cancel yours. So I guess that kind of fits with the trickster theme, but double-sided effect for a 5 cost. We'll see. Let's see, Iron Man, uncommon. While Iron Man is active, when an opponent uses a global ability, he gets +1/+1. You know, it could be nice, but at the same time, you don't really get control over whether he's getting buffed or not. So, all right, we have got, I believe that is Wrecker, although it's kind of an unfortunate symbol on that die. And that looks like a Thor. Perhaps that's the Lady Thor. And it is. Look at that. So we've got Thor. This is the common Lady Thor. Now they have the same name, so there's a Thor and a Thor, and because of that, you can't put them on the same team. So you can't make a team with both the Lady Thor and the male Thor. But I don't know if you want to necessarily, but they have the same name, so you can't. Immortal again, and Thor cannot be damaged by villain character dice or action dice. So not bad. Especially if your opponent's got villains. Global, pay shield, target attacking character die goes to the use pile if KO'd this turn. That's the kind of global that would be pretty interesting if you had an immortal team, because it couldn't really be used against you if you had an attacking character that was KO'd, although all the immortal characters are pretty beefy, so it'd be tough to KO them anyway. Then they would go to used, but because of immortal, they go to your bag. So that could be maybe helpful. Maybe if you have that on a team, you can use it when you're attacking or something. All right, we've got the uncommon Wrecker. When Wrecker attacks, target opposing character die must block Wrecker if able. Actually, kind of neat. It's a force block global, but it doesn't cost any energy. But they do have to block specifically Wrecker. It's kind of like Call Out, but they don't get a choice about it. Global, pay 2 fists. Target character die must block this turn, and a different target character die gets +1 attack this turn. So there it is. That's nice. It's a force block global. It's more expensive than the other ones. This is a 2 cost, but it also gives +1 attack. So the last time we had a 2-fist force block global, it was the Ultron drone, and then you got to pick their target. This one not quite as good that way, but you do also get to get something +1 attack. So, all right, we have got a Mr. Fix-It. This is the common one. Lots of talk about the combos you can do with this one. When Mr. Fix-It is damaged, he gets +X attack, where X is his printed attack value. And his attack values are 6, 7, and 8. So at level 3, every time you do 1 damage to him, he's going to get 8 attack. And if you did that multiple times in the same turn, that wouldn't take much to get your opponent down to 0 pretty quickly. Definitely worth the 6 cost. It looks like it's the old green Goliath die too, but it's gray, which is kind of neat. Probably gonna have to practice with that one a little bit, see if we can make something work with that one. The other one is Searcher. This is the uncommon. I hope I'm saying that right. He gets +2/+2 for each opposing character die. Yeah, with Overcrush, that'd be pretty cool. Although as a mass character, you can't use like Pim particles or proton cannon. So that's a little bit unfortunate, but if you could give him Overcrush or something, it feels like there's something missing there. I think DM Armada on his opening video, we were talking about that one. Feels like it's missing something before it could be really, really good. All right, we have got, these are some new dice here. All right, we have got a Karnak as a 3 cost with Deadly. I gotta say, the one thing that makes this really interesting is of all the cards that I've opened so far, I think this is the cheapest, and it also has 0/0/1 fielding, so even without Deadly, it'd be definitely easy to pick this up in a draft just because you need something cheap. Deadly would be pretty neat, especially with all these big immortal characters around. You can do something about them. Thor Buster Iron Man. Thor Buster Iron Man gets +4/+4 while blocking and when blocked by Thor character dice. That's so specific. It's not even, it's not an affiliation. It's just specifically Thor. I don't think I've ever played against a team that had a Thor on it. Maybe during a draft, but even then they could just block with something else. So I don't know. It makes sense thematically, but I don't know if that's that great. Looks like we've got a couple of She-Hulk dice. Alright, we have got the common She-Hulk, 6 cost. While Hulk is active, when a different character die you control is damaged, spin Hulk up 1 level. If you cannot, deal 2 damage to target opponent. Actually, she's not even called She-Hulk, she's just called Hulk, so you couldn't put her on the same team as other Hulks. That's pretty interesting. They use the same die as the She-Hulk from Uncanny X-Men, but or at least the same symbol. Global, pay fist. Target character gets +1 attack till end of turn. I'm a big fan of pump globals, so I'm glad that there's more of them coming out in modern. When a different character die you control is damaged, spin Hulk up a level if you can't deal 2 damage to target opponent. So if you can get her at level 3, she's a 7/7. And then every time you damage another character, she deals 2 damage to your opponent. That's pretty good. Especially the other character is Mr. Fix-It, but then you're just kind of winning more anyway, and it requires 2 6 costs. I'd say if you can get her out into the field, especially if she rolls at level 3, it's expensive to field her, but then you can immediately just start pinging guys off. I mean, there is already a ping global with that Thor, so expensive in draft, but that could be some way to get direct damage in. We got the rare Hulk too. When fielded, if your opponent controls a character die with a higher level than Hulk, deal 4 damage to it and spin Hulk up 1 level. So if you're level 1, she's a 5/4, you deal 4 damage to something. Now, if they're a higher level than Hulk, I mean, they could have less than 4 defense, but in this set, a lot of them have high defense. So it feels like one of those things that might even be better outside of set, just because. I mean, what have we got for defense? We got 6s and 7s and 8s, and I guess there's a few 3s and 4s in here, some 5s. Yeah, a lot of high defense, high tag characters, really expensive characters in this set. All right, we have got Captain America, but what's that other one? It's Balder. All right, while Balder is blocking or blocked, if both Balder and one of the character dice Balder is engaged with are KO'd, return Balder to the field zone at the same level. So if you can get him to KO the die that's blocking him, and then he also gets KO'd, he comes back to the field, but the other one would still get KO'd. That's kind of neat, especially because it's also while blocking, which means you can actually control it. You can decide which one he blocks. He's only ever got 4 attack, but he's got 4, 5, and 6 defense. So you got to find something with 4 or less, defense to get KO'd. But that's not terrible. Samantha Wilson, got a shiny one. This is the common. She uses the Captain America die. While Samantha Wilson is active, when you field a sidekick die, draw and roll a die. That's you have to draw and roll it, not prep it. I almost rather it would be prep it. Then it would be kind of like Mimic. You would only get 1, but you wouldn't have to worry about targeting anything, and our stats would be better. Still, draw and roll a die. It's not bad. You could trigger that multiple times in the same turn. Global, pay shield, prevent 1 damage target character die or player. I think there was a global like that on Groot, but it was 2 shields, so that one's even pretty good. I tend to forget about prevent globals when I'm playing in a draft or something, but hopefully that one can be useful. All right, we have got a Blackheart. This is the common. While Blackheart is active, when you field a villain, Blackheart gets +2/+2 until end of turn. So you got to get him out in the field. He's only got 2 defense at level 1 and 2, and then 4 at level 3. But if you could get him out and then field a couple of villains the next turn, he could get pretty big. So 4 costs, pretty easy to do that. But still, no overcrush. You have to find some way to sneak that damage in. All right, so we've got the common Volstagg. I think it's the only one we've gotten a duplicate of, and we've gotten 3 of them so far. We've got a Jane Foster, and looks like a spider, but it's the mechanized spider. So Spider. Common, while Spider is active, double all damage dealt to villain character dice. Uh, I really like double effects only because of things like Wolverine, the best there is. You can get Lady Bullseye to double, and then you can, if the thing is a villain already, you can get this to make that double, and then you can deal a ton of damage with that. But it is at least doubled all damage dealt to villains. So if you were to do some kind of board wipe, like you feel the like a common banshee and deal 1 damage to everything, then it would become 2 damage to all the villains. That's pretty neat, and it's everything in play, so it's pretty good. Uncommon Jane Foster. She's an ally, which means she counts as a sidekick. Only 2 cost too, which is nice. While Jane Foster is active, your character dice with Immortal have a fielding cost of 0. Things like that Heimdall might start to get a little bit easier to field, although you still have to buy them. So if you can buy them, Jane Foster would definitely help you get them out into the field. And she's only ever got a fielding cost of 0 herself. Actually, she's got pretty decent stuff. She says 1, 2, 2, 2, 2, 3, and she can attack. It doesn't say that she can't, like the old Pepper Potts, but so not bad. If you can get your immortal characters, then that would help you. All right, looks like I got 2 of the actions here. We've got Mjolnir, common Mjolnir. KO all level 1 character dice other than Thor, and at the double burst, it would also be the level 2 character dice. Maybe if you could do like small step for man as a basic action, and then spin everything to level 1, and then you KO all of them, but your Thor stays out. Even then, you lose all of your own as well. I don't know. We'll see. Uncommon Billy Club. Move target character die to this card. Return it to the field zone at end of turn. I kind of like this one. That's the same kind of effect that Intimidate has. Intimidate doesn't really see much play. In fact, people forget what Intimidate even means, which is that you feel the character and you remove it from play for a turn. This is effectively that, but it's an action. So you don't have to pay any fielding costs or anything, and it can't get blanked. It could be helpful just for a little bit of removal, but still got to buy it and get it out. All right, we have got Ragnarok. When Ragnarok attacks, deal 1 damage to all opposing character dice. Wow. 5, 3, 6, 4, 7, 8. I think this is the Hulk die from Civil War as well. Sorry, 7, 6, not a 7, 8. When attacks, deal 1 damage to all opposing character dice. It's not bad. It's going to wipe out the sidekicks. If you have something like Spider out, then that would get rid of the villains, would take double damage, but I don't know. We'll see. Sif foil here. This one we already seen. Just the foil version. Thor active. She gets +3 attack. All right. We've got a Bifrost and another Karnak. I believe was the name. Karnak. Yep. So that's the 3 costs. Common, deadly. We have got the uncommon Bifrost. I wanted to see this die up close because it makes it look really cool in the picture. This one doesn't seem to have very much blue in it. It's mostly red. But when you field a character die this turn, you may prep a die of the same energy type in your used pile. And at the double burst, you can also prep a die from your bag. That's not bad. You have to have this and a character on the same turn, which is not always going to happen. So sometimes it'll just be a whiff whether or not you roll it. But prep a die of the same energy type in your used pile. So could be an action, could be a character, and also a die from your bag. If you can get it to work, that'd be pretty neat. And it's only a 3 cost, but getting it to run multiple times, where every time you roll it, you've got a character to field and also something in your used pile. Because if you just refilled your bag, you won't. That could be kind of hard to pull off. All right, Pepper Potts and Karnak again. This is the common Pepper Potts. Now this Pepper Potts can't attack. While Pepper Potts is active, draw an extra die at the beginning of your clear and draw step. If it is a non-sidekick die, prep it. I really like this, actually. I really want to try this out. I hope I can get it in a draft or something. So if you draw an extra, you draw an extra die. So you're drawing 5 dice. If it's a sidekick die, you roll it. You can just get 5 dice. If your last die is a non-sidekick, you get in your prep area. Like both of those are good options. Depends on what you need that turn. I also really like that this Pepper Potts is pretty playable. You don't really want her out of the field, but if you had multiple in the field, you could use the Suit Up with Rescue, and I just like Suit Up. It's not very good, but I still think it's fun anyway. So I'm happy that there's Pepper Potts back. We've got Karnak. This is uncommon, and it has no text, but it is a 2 cost, and pretty good stats for a 2 cost. 1, 3, 3, 3, 4, 3. Obviously, that level 1 is not very good, but um, and for a 4/3, that's the same as like the 1 cost morphing jar, but not bad. Probably the cheapest character in the set besides Pepper Potts, but it's got decent stats. So, all right, got Kate Bishop and Iron Man. Common Iron Man again, +1 defense for all villains. We have got the uncommon Kate Bishop. When fielded, deal 1 damage to target opponent. And a global that says pay a mass, targeting character die is no longer attacking. It remains in the field zone. This global can go burn in a fire. I was so excited that we were going to get rid of Blink Transmutation, and now it's on a character. And at least it can be blanked with Shriek. That's my only consolation. But I feel like I have so many fun combos where you get something unblockable or something massive, and then having the Blink Global just ruins it. So I was really sad to see it come back, but maybe I'll just have to blink it. All right, we have got Spider again and Kate Bishop again. All right, we've got the common Kate Bishop. This card is terrible. There's just no getting around it. When fielded, you lose life equal to Kate Bishop's defense, which is either 1, 2, or 4. So you get a 2-cost character, which when you pay 1 to field it, you lose 4 life for something that only has 3 attack. So even if you get it to go through unblock that turn, you still took more damage than your opponent did. And you lose life, so it's not damage. You can't redirect it or prevent it. I have no idea what they were thinking when they made this card. The only way I can ever see this card ever coming in handy is if you're playing an alternate format where you're trying to get yourself down to 0 faster, in which case it'd be really good. Anyway, we got the rare Spider. This one I'm excited about. Okay, this is the first rare that I've been really looking forward to. Hard to read here with the foil, but while Spider is active, when an opposing non-Spider ability deals damage to you, deal that same amount of damage to target opponent. So right off the bat, you get Spider out in the field. If you're going to take damage from anything that isn't Spider, so they're trying to prevent the infinite loop there, then you deal the same amount of damage to target opponent. If you can damage yourself, you can deal that. You can also then deal that damage to your opponent. It doesn't get redirected, but at least it gets dealt them as well. But then also, while Spider is active, when you are dealt damage, cancel any active effects of previously used action dice. So let's say your opponent, they get a couple of cosmic cubes out, they deal some damage to you, but then as soon as you take damage, they take the same amount, and it cancels all the cosmic cubes in play. I really like that. If you can put Luke Cage Global on your team, so you can guarantee that you take damage, any kind of persistent effect that they're trying to use on their turn during the attack step, you can just cancel it in the priority window. I'm going to have to play around with that card for sure. I really like the idea of that. And I just kind of like the metal spider going on there. So I'll have to look into that one. All right, Jane Foster and Loki. We have got the common Jane Foster, an ally again. When she is KO'd, you may field a Thor character die from your used pile for free on the same level Jane Foster was on. So since she always fields for free, that means that you get Thor for free. Kind of depends on what level she's on. If you could buy Thor reliably, which the Thors are expensive, it's not guaranteed, then you could make sure that happens pretty easily. But not bad. Thematic. Could come up in draft. Uncommon Loki. While Loki is active, character dice with Immortal deal only 1 damage. Man, if you happen to be playing against something with a lot of Immortal who's really trying it out in draft, this could really punish them for it. Deal only 1. So you let them go through unblocked, they deal you 1 damage. They go to the bag, but then they got to pay to field them unless they've got uncommon Jane Foster or something. Could be interesting, but very specific. Although a little bit less specific than that Hulkbuster Iron Man. All right. We have got, looks like Fandral again, and a new die. That one is Hela. Or Hela? I mean Hela. Would be just more fun to say. When fielded, each player may prep up to 3 non-sidekick dice from their use pile. Man, each player may prep up to 3 non-sidekick dice from these. So you get 3 preps, but so does your opponent. So for a 6 cost, with admittedly okay fielding costs, 1/1/2, which is a 5/5, 6/6, 7/7. I mean, it's not exactly double-sided because you both get to prep up to 3 non-psychic dice. maybe they don't have non-psychic dice used or whatever, but the only thing that makes it not quite double-sided is that you also get a 5/5, a 6/6, or a 7/7 in the field. But giving your opponent 3 dice to prep when you having to spend energy for it doesn't sound that great. Uncommon Fandral, the one with Deadly, and Hogan and Volstagg get +2/+2 and Deadly. I think there's a lot of double-sided effects in this set, at least so far, and they're not always worth it. We have got 2 of these dice. Looks like Enchantress. It's a nice clear green, actually. We have got Common Enchantress. While she's active, the first time you or one of your character dice is damaged each turn, prevent that damage. I mean, that is an effect that was on Luke Cage, although they could pay life to make it happen. More expensive, 6 cost. She's only got 3 defense at level 1 and 2, but prevent damage, it's not bad. Although they could just ping one of your characters and then do the rest to you. Rare Enchantress. While Enchantress is active, your opponents must pay 1 energy to use a global ability or action die. So this is like 2 Oracle effects together, but combined into 1 card. That's not bad. And the 2 Oracles would cost 4 each, so kind of nice that this one only costs 6. I could maybe see that happening. You know, you're not quite sure whether your opponents are going to be using actions or globals. Prevent them both. Alright, I have got another Mjolnir and Samantha Wilson. I really like to see that rare Mjolnir come up, so we'll see what happens. We've got the common Mjolnir again, KOing all level 1 character dice. We have got the common Samantha Wilson again. Right. We'll need a linker on the commons then. Already seen those. We have got, oh, I bet you that is a super rare. That is a shiny die. So we have got Hogan. First time we've seen Hogan. Intimidate. While Hogan is active, Fandral and Volstagg get +2/+2 and gain Intimidate. So this is the end of that trinity there. If you can get all 3 of them, they'll all get +4/+4 and Intimidate, which means when you field it, they remove a character from play. They'll all have Overcrush and they'll all have Deadly. That'd be kind of cool. I'd say Deadly and Overcrush probably the winners in that trade-off, but not bad there. And we did get a super rare. Let's see, Earth X Thor, She Be Worthy. So 5 cost. When fielded, if you have less life than an opponent, KO target character die. When fielded, KO target villain character die. And Underdog, which means if you have fewer characters out than your opponent does. When fielded, KO target character die with fielding cost 0. So if you have less life than your opponent and fewer dice in the fields, and they have a villain, you can get 3 effects when you field. Which means if you had something like Adam Warlock out, then you could do all 3 of those things a second time. That could be pretty helpful, but it's not always going to be. Still, interesting set of effects. Hard to line up all of them, I think, at the same time. But there we go. We got 1 super rare so far. All right, we have got another Heimdall and a new die there for us. It's another one of the common Heimdalls, and the new one is Destroyer. Sorry, that is the uncommon. While Destroyer is active, when a villain character die is fielded, Destroyer gets +1 and +1 and gains the villain affiliation until end of turn. So it doesn't say whenever a villain character die is fielded. So it might only be limited to once per turn. Because you can't get the affiliation more than once. That wouldn't make sense. So he's a 4 cost. He's a 3/3, 3/4, 5/4. If you get a villain out, he becomes a 4/4, 4/5, 6/5. That's okay. I don't know if I'd be using that one. All right, there's a Malekith and a Thor. All right, and it is the common Malekith. While Malekith is active, when you use an action die, prep a die from your bag. That was a global once upon a time on the Yellow Lantern Batman. So it's kind of nice that it's just a while active effect. You don't have to pay any energy or anything for it. Definitely a couple teams that you might throw that onto that would be helpful. Uncommon Thor. This is the uncommon Lady Thor. When Thor attacks, when she KOs an opposing character die with combat damage, gain 2 life. And then she's got that same global. Target attacking character die goes to the use pile if KO'd this turn. So she's 4/5, 5/6, 6/8. So, she's pretty likely going to KO an opposing character die. As a 7 cost, that's kind of a stretch there. Life gain is always nice, but man, 7 cost is brutal. I wonder if, and I haven't done the numbers on this one. I bet you this set has the most 7 cost and 6 cost characters out of every set. At least that's what it seems like to me. All right, we have got a Blackheart. This is the common one again, and rare Absorbing Man. While Absorbing Man is active, when fielded effect is used, you may use a copy of it. So hey, throw these guys together, and then you've already got 6 when fielded effects because you get 3 of them for Orthodox Thor, and then you get to use them all over again with this, and then maybe you throw Adam Warlock on there, and you get to do them all over again. Would that be 9 or would that be 12? I don't know. Adam Warlock says they trigger twice. So maybe they actually would. Oh man, I think that would be 12 when fielded effects on that. You'd never be able to pull all of them off, I don't think, at that point, though. Still, there's some combo potential with that card. That's interesting. All right, we have got the common Beta Ray Bill again, but it's foil this time. We have got the common Jane Foster again. We got Spider and our first Chipmunk Hunk. Common Spider again, and the uncommon Chipmunk Hunk. While Chipmunk Hunk is active, at the beginning of your turn, you may place a Chipmunk token with 1 attack and 1 defense into the field zone. That's quite a lot like the uncommon Squirrel Girl. I'm sure that's not a coincidence. I'm working on making some Chipmunk tokens for that. I think it'd be really fun. I feel like you can make a team with a bunch of tokens out. Do some shenanigans with that there. All right, we have got Ragnarok and Fandral. So Fandral is immortal. When Fandral attacks, the opposing character die with the highest purchase cost must block him. I think that's the second, because Wrecker also had a must be blocked kind of attack. That's kind of interesting. But you don't get a choice about this one. It's the highest purchase cost character must block him. Interesting. And then, another super rare. We got super rare Ragnarok. Hard to read there. When fielded, KO all opposing sidekick dice. You may then choose to KO any number of your sidekick dice. Deal 1 damage to target opponent for each sidekick die KO'd by this effect, both yours and your opponent's. So, man, if you can make sure there's a lot of sidekicks in the field, that's a pretty cool effect. I think there's like a little divot in my super rare foil. Well, that's unfortunate. It's not mint anymore. He's got 1/1/2 fielding, so that's not bad. And you can decide not to KO your own sidekicks, which is kind of the neat part about that. Because there was the Red Eyes or the Tsar Colossus that just KO'd all of them indiscriminately. But at least on that one, you get to decide. Still, once again, 7 costs. Even with Heimdall Global, that's still not that easy to get to all the time. All right, we have got Wrecker, we have got Thor. So we have got the common Thor again. I think we've seen this one. Immortal Thor cannot be damaged by villain. Actually, we have seen that one. Common record. Your other villain character dice get +1/+1. That'd be kind of cool with that Malekith that makes all of your sidekicks into villains. So now you've got an additional +1/+1. There's some pretty good villain synergy in this set. I'm going to look for that while I'm drafting. All right, we have got Crystal, and I believe that is the U.S. agent. Crystal, common Crystal. You get to re-roll your actions a 3rd time. Uncommon U.S. agent. When fielded, you may sacrifice, so that goes sent to the use pile then, any number of sidekick dice. If you do, deal 1 damage to target opponent for each die sacrificed by this effect. That's pretty neat. I think it'd be kind of fun if you could do it with the Super Rare Jubilee, and you field a bunch of sidekicks, deal 1 damage for each one you field, and then you field U.S. Agent, and then sacrifice all the ones you just fielded, and you get 2 damage for each sidekick that way. Maybe you could use the Cosmic Cube and make it a little bit less fun for your opponent. Still, 5 costs. You know, that's the theme of the set, is everything is too expensive. Fielding costs are decent, but everything's expensive. Common Wrecker, again, we've got a foil rare Iron Man. While Iron Man is active, once per turn, when you use a global ability, prep a die from your bag. You know, not terrible, especially if that global ability happens to already prep a die from your bag. That'd be pretty cool that you get an extra one. But for 5? It seems like I sound like I'm repeating myself. All right, we have got, let's see, Billy Club, the common again. I always forget the name of Billy Club. Deal damage. This is the uncommon Gila. She just has Immortal, and while Gila is active, your character dice have Immortal. All of them. All of them have Immortal. That's kind of neat. I mean, she's expensive, but giving all of your character dice Immortal, you can get some things go through unblocked. I mean, I think that would be kind of neat. All right, we have got Daredevil and Mr. Fix-It again. So finally, if you also have Daredevil active, you can use this. Well, here's Daredevil in the set. There are some other Daredevils. I don't think he showed up for a little while. Civil War, I think. Daredevil deals double damage to mask character dice. If your opponent's playing masks, you can use 2/2, 3/2, 3/3. Easy to get out though, so if you needed to use him for just the Billy Club's effect, he's pretty easy there. Not a great effect though. Uncommon Mr. Fix-It. When a character die is KO'd, Mr. Fix-It gets +2/+2. Yeah, pretty easy to control that. Not quite as effective as his common, but maybe if you're trying to KO characters for other reasons. We got US Agent again, and we have got Fandral. And it's the common Fandral with Immortal. And the common US Agent, when fielded, you may sacrifice a sidekick die. If you do, prep 2 dice from your used pile. Now I have to look this up, but I can't remember if sacrifice characters go directly to the used pile or if they go in transition. Because there's a couple of ways where being able to sacrifice things to the used pile would help you if you had like the Professor X Global or something. But so the new one from X-Men, the one that lets you prep dice. But I have a feeling that it's probably goes to transition instead. And I can't look it up at the moment. All right, Enchantress and Fandral. We have got the common Fandral. The opposing character die, yep, highest attack must block, or highest purchase cost. We've got the uncommon Enchantress. That makes all the Enchantresses. When Enchantress is active, when an opposing character die is fielded, that die deals 1 damage to all other opposing character dice. Kind of neat. Every time your opponent fields a character, their own characters deal 1 damage to the rest of their characters. So I can't think of an example of like where the source of the damage matters that much. But it's kind of fun thematically that you get to use their own dice against them. All right, we have got another Destroyer and another Chipmunk Hunk. We have got the common Chipmunk Hunk. While he is the character in the field zone with the highest purchase cost, he gets +2/+2 as a 3 cost in a set where everything seems to be 5, 6, 7. In constructed, maybe if you get him out like right away, but even then, that just seems so unlikely. That seems like the uncommon Pepper Potts, where +2/+2 is not good enough for the effect that has to happen. Common Destroyer. Destroyer must attack each turn if able, and when he attacks, he gets +1 attack. So it's Guy Gardner with better starting stats and twice the purchase cost, but he only gets +1 attack. Still, that kind of relentless assault could be pretty good in a limited format. We have got Heimdall and Mr. Fix-It. Common Mr. Fix-It again. And uncommon Heimdall. I think this is actually the first time we've seen uncommon. When Heimdall is KO'd, and he's a 6, 7, or 8 defense, so not likely, draw a die. If it is a character die with Immortal, field it for free at level 3. Otherwise, prep it. I mean, I wish I could make a face at the camera for that one, because you've got a 6-cost character with 6, 7, and 8 defense, and we'll put a when KO'd ability on it. And the when KO'd ability is prep 1 die or possibly fill the die with Immortal. Ugh. I don't know about that. I don't know about that, WizKids. Alright, Balder. Well, Balder is blocking or blocked if both Balder and one of the character dice Balder gave it. Alright, we've seen that one in the common. Common Samantha Wilson again. Alright, move right along. We have got another Bifrost and another Thor Buster Iron Man. So he gets +4/+4 while blocking and when blocked by Thor. Yeah, that's the common. We've seen that one. And ooh, we got the rare Bifrost. So, first of all, the global pays 0 once per turn on your turn. Spin one of your sidekick character dice to its shield face. So it's the global from Cyborg from Green Arrow Flash. It's an energy fixer. But you could have 2 of them on your team now. And this is an action, so it can't be blanked. So it's worth having. Separate from Cyborg. And the ability here, it's a 4-cost action. When you field a character die, you may field target character die in your used pile on the same level for free. So when you field a character die, you may field a character die from your used, which means that's just going to trigger a chain reaction. And so you field 1 character, and then everything in your used pile starts to come into play. I've been thinking about this. We've been kind of brewing with this one. I think there's probably some ways to make that pretty fun. Although it's not quite as good as everyone was worried about, because once again, you have to have dice in your use pile. You have to get that and a character on the same turn, which is not always easy to do. So if you're doing bag management enough, though, that could be pretty fun. I'm going to have to try that one out. So look for a future video with a combo with that. We have got the common Jane Foster. We've seen that one. And the uncommon Thor. I've seen that one. And it feels like it's been a while since I've opened a whole Gravity feed, because we didn't have one for the Tomb of Annihilation set. I guess it's only been since November when X-Men First Class came out. But it's opening this many packs is fun. Common Samantha Wilson. Uncommon Beta Ray Bill. Beta Ray Bill cannot be targeted by action dice or global abilities. He's got some good stats. You might want to keep him from being blinked back or Kate Bishoped back now that that global exists again. That's probably a better ability than his other versions. Alright, we got Daredevil, we've got Hulk. Common Daredevil again. Uncommon Hulk, which means we've got all 3. While Hulk is active, when an opponent uses a global ability, spin Hulk up 1 level, and the same global as the common, pay a fist and target character die gets +1 attack until end of turn. So, you know, you can't control it because your opponent can just decide not to use global abilities, but at least she does come with a global ability. So, and her cost is only 5. I think that's probably one of the more fair cards we've opened in a while. Like seeing that. Alright, we have got Loki again. This is the common with that double-sided global cancellation. And we have got the common Thor, who's got Immortal, and the pink global. That's only the second Thor die we've gotten the whole time. Alright, looks like we might be about halfway through. Looks like it takes a lot longer to open one of these than it does to open a display draft pack display. All right, first time we have seen Yarnbjorn, and my axe. That's funny. Replace target character die's attack with double its printed attack until end of turn. That's awesome. Now, when it says replace target character die's attack with double its printed attack, does that mean that if you... Probably not. I'm thinking of something like Mimic, where you copy the printed attack and defense, and this is replace, but probably just not going to change the printed one. Double its attack. There's a lot of pretty high attack characters in this set. And we have got the common Bifrost. Until the end of the turn, when you field a character die, you may move 1 copy of that character die from your used pile to the field zone at the same level. So this one is move a character die from the used pile, not field it. So the nice thing about the rare is that you could maybe trigger when fielded effects for everything in your used, but this one you can't. Definitely the weakest of the Bifrosts. But that means we have completed the set, at least. Got all of them now. All right, there's another Yarnborn, and I believe that's a Nick Fury. dice from all the way back in AVX. Common Yarnborn again. And first Nick Fury we've seen is the uncommon. When fielded, you may KO target level 1 villain character die. Alright, pretty cheap, good fielding, very specific effect, but especially in Limited, there are a lot of good villains in the set, and they work together pretty well. I'd say that's not a bad pickup there. We've got Malekith and we've got Enchant. I keep holding out for that super rare Malekith, but now that we've gotten 2, it's pretty unlikely. Alright, we've got Common Enchantress and the Common Malekith. I've seen both of those already. We have got double Kate Bishop. Ooh. Alright, we have got the common Kate Bishop, which we've already talked about. No need to talk about that anymore, ever again. Rare Kate Bishop. When fielded, Kate Bishop cannot be blocked by character dice of a higher level. So, at level, she's got 3 attack no matter what phase she's on. So, if she can't be blocked, that's, at least 3 damage. That's not terrible. It's only the turn that she's fielded, but still could happen. Alright. We have got another Balder. It's still the common, though. I think we've only seen the common for him. We've got the uncommon Blackheart. While Blackheart is active, when you purchase a villain character die, you may pay 1 generic. If you do, add it to your bag, and Blackheart gets +1 attack and +1 defense. I like that. You keep him out in the field, you start buying villain. We just talked about villain synergy. That's a great villain synergy. You purchase a villain, you pay 1 of any energy, and you get 2 effects for it. You get that die prep or in your bag. So instead of paying a shield for chalkboard, you could pay any energy and it goes into your bag, which might be better sometimes. But also he gets +1 attack, +1 defense. So you could do that a couple times a turn, maybe. I could see that maybe getting pulled off in a draft. Alright, Karnak and Samantha Wilson. We have got the common Karnak again, and the uncommon Samantha Wilson. 5 cost. When Samantha Wilson is active, when a sidekick die you control deals combat damage to an opponent, prep a die from your bag. So, even if you're not going to swing for lethal, if you can get your sidekicks through unblockable, maybe with the Insect Plague Global, you could get a prep die for it too. Oh, she's also got a global, which is the same as her common. Pay a shield, prevent 1 damage target character or player. I can see that. Some kind of sidekick there. I do like sidekicks. Alright. We have got, I believe this is 2 of the trio here. No, that's a Sif. Okay. Common Volstagg again. We've still only seen that. Uncommon Sif. Immortal. Sif gets +1/+1 for each different character die with Immortal you control. Actually, I think we did see her right at the very beginning. Right. Looking for that rare Jane Foster. We have got the uncommon, or sorry, the common Blackheart and the uncommon Jane Foster. And double on Sif. Does that mean? Yep. I think they used to do this where you could get doubles that were both commons, but it seems like these days when you get a double, you get a common and a rare, which is kind of nice. So we've seen the common already, and the rare now, rare Sif. While Sif is active, if one of your other character dice is damaged, Sif cannot be blocked until end of turn. So, and I keep thinking about ways to combo that with like Mr. Fix-It, but then it's 2 6 costs. But then she can go unblockable. Mr. Fix-It can get all, pumped up. Pretty easy to control when one of your characters is damaged, but you would have to do it during your main step, otherwise that wouldn't make sense. So you have to have some kind of ping, I guess. Common Enchantress. We got the rare Destroyer. Destroyer gets +1/+1 for each sidekick character dies in your field zone. So this is the same ability that Foot Ninja had, except Foot Ninja was all sidekick character dice, which probably was a little bit unfair. So I guess they're trying to balance. There's been sort of like a push recently to take old effects that were a little bit unfair and make them more fair. Definitely better starting stats than Foot Ninja, but it's a 5 cost instead of a 3 cost. Still, I can see that coming in handy if you're playing Psychics. There's also the Dum Dum Dugan, I guess, which gets the same effect for a 2 cost. So you do start off with better stats, though. All right, Hulk, Common Hulk, and the rare Karnak. I pulled a few rares in a row now. When fielded before the attack step, the first opposing character die you damage this turn is KO'd. Multiple character dice are damaged at once, you choose one. So once again, relies on a ping. If you do it before the attack step, which means you can't even use one attack's abilities, then you just get a straight up ping that takes out a whole character. So it could be pretty easy to bring some kind of magic missile global and take out their 8 defense character, maybe Blob or something. Kind of interesting. Wow, we're about halfway through the set. This is the first time we've seen a Punisher. And that is the common Punisher. When Punisher deals damage to an opponent, you may purchase a Punisher character die for 1. So that's a 5 cost. But the first time you deal damage to an opponent, you can just buy Punisher for 1. That can be helpful if you need a lot of them in the field for something like the Bifrost. We got the rare Daredevil. Somehow all the rares are like right next to each other in the gravity feed. While Daredevil is active, when an opposing villain character die is KO'd, gain 1 life. That is a lot easier to pull off than the uncommon Thor, where you have to KO an opposing character die with combat damage with a 7 cost. This one, they just have to be KO'd in general. Could be any kind of ping effect or something, and you get 1 life. Not a bad way to gain life. I could try that. Mr. Fix-It and Volstagg. Common Mr. Fix-It again. And we've got the uncommon Volstagg, who has Immortal. And Volstagg cannot be blocked by lower level character dice. So he is a 3/6, 4/6, 5/8. And if he can't be blocked at level 3, then he's a 5 attack going through. Could be unblockable. Too bad that Kate Bishop still exists. So she's got that global to ping him right back. Alright. Hold out for that rare Mjolnir. Common Beta Ray Bill and uncommon Mjolnir. We've seen that one before. Might deal damage to your opponent, but it deals 1 damage to a character for each bolt. Alright, Chipmunk Hunk and Malekith. So we've got the common Chipmunk Hunk. Seen that one. Uncommon Malekith. The one that gets your sidekick buff. And still finding new dice in there. I believe that is Odin. So we have got the common Odin. He is a 6 cost. He has Immortal. He's a 3/6, 4/7, 5/8. This is the Odin die from Age of Ultron as well. Just a raven. It's I like the art on this one. He looks kind of insane. I don't know much about the Thor storylines in the comics, but that is pretty cool. Oh, we did get the rare Mjolnir. So that's 2 of the energy fixers so far. We'll see if we can get a 3rd one. So the action's pretty cool. Deal 1 damage to target character die, then 2 damage to target character die that hasn't been damaged, and then continue increasing the damage, selecting new targets until a character die is KO'd or all character dice have been damaged. So if you do KO something, the effect ends. But you could get some pretty high damage if you've got a lot of defense on your side. And then the global, pay 0 once per turn on your turn, spin 1 of your sidekick character die to its bolt face. So that one was on Merlin in the Green Arrow Flash set, but it is on a pretty cheap action. And that's pretty cool. I am excited about the energy fixers coming back. Alright, Billy Club and Spider. We have got a foil version of the common Billy Club and common Spider. Malekith and Yarnbjorn. We have got common Malekith. We have got the uncommon Yarnbjorn. Character dice you control with Immortal get +2/+2 and Overcrush. That's starting to make the Immortal characters look a little bit better because they all have pretty good stats. So getting them Overcrush, but this isn't continuous, so you got to use it on the right turn. Still, especially in a draft, You know, I'm not sure that even in a draft, Immortal is going to be the best effect, but that's where it would be helpful. We have got Ragnarok and Wrecker. All right, common Ragnarok. Deal 1 damage to all opposing character dice when he attacks. And the uncommon Wrecker, which has the Force Block Global. We got another Spider and another Destroyer, it looks like. Common Spider, uncommon Destroyer. I think at this point we've seen all of the Destroyers. I don't remember if we've seen the uncommon Spider, though. Another Bifrost and another U.S. Agent. We have got the common Bifrost and the common U.S. Agent. Alright. We have got the common Gila again. And a foil version of the common Thor Buster Iron Man. It's too bad because that's a cool looking die and the art is really neat. It's just not gonna get played until Thor becomes the new meta. Maybe if there was some kind of Jimmy Olsen card that made Thor really cheap, but we've got Jane Foster. Jane Foster makes him free to field, but Jimmy has that effect plus the discount built in. I don't know if they're going to make Thor that cheap. All right, we got a common Odin again, and the uncommon Thor Buster Iron Man. This one gets 1 less to purchase for each active character die with Immortal to a minimum of 2. And he does not need to be active to use the ability. Global, that's really tiny text. Global, pay 2 masks once during your turn, target opposing character die with Immortal, and target character die you control. Deal damage equal to their attack to each other. So, I mean, once again, you're really hoping you're playing at somebody with Immortal. At least the ability is worded so if you have Immortal characters, then he still gets the discount. The discount doesn't rely on opposing Immortal characters, but the Global does. So, you know, if you've got this and they've got an Immortal character, maybe you can get it KO'd. All right. That is an Iron Man. So, Hogan, the common one with Intimidate again, and the uncommon Iron Man, who gets +1/+1 for a global. We have got Absorbing Man and Loki. Common Absorbing Man. When Absorbing Man attacks or blocks, he may copy the attack and or defense value of the character die Absorbing Man is blocking or blocked by. That's awesome. If they've got a really big character, you can just block it and copy their stats, and now they're just going to KO each other, and then you get him right back. That seems pretty neat. When he's blocked, I guess attack and or defense value. So you could always kind of keep him alive or something. Kind of a nice utility, I guess, in that case. We got the rare Loki. Foils are always hard to read on my camera, sorry. When fielded, you may take control of target opposing character die of equal or lower purchase cost and remove Loki from play. At end of turn, return the character die and Loki to the field zone under their owner's control, regardless of their location. So he's a 6 cost. So you field him, you can take control of any 6 cost that your opponent has, or lower, and at the end of the turn, but he doesn't stay in the field. And at the end of the turn, Loki comes back into the field, and they go back there. I guess the nice thing is it doesn't matter what level he's on, because sometimes that can be frustrating, having to have a level 3 to make an effect useful. But it's lame that you only get their character, you don't get him as well. All right, common Mjolnir. We got all of those at this point, and the uncommon Enchantress. I believe we have all of those as well. We have got Odin and Destroyer. Common Destroyer. We've seen all of those. We finally see the uncommon Odin, though. While Odin is active, your other character dice get +1/+1. Not bad. Kind of nice to have a just blanket +1. It's not your villain character dice or your sidekick character dice or your, you know, Thor character dice. It's just all your other character dice get +1/+1. Expensive, again, for the effect, but still not bad. We have got Punisher and Daredevil, and it is the common Daredevil. And we have the uncommon Punisher. When Punisher is KO'd, roll her and any Punisher character dice in your used pile. Deal 1 damage to target opponent for each bolt rolled, then prep those dice. So the first one dealt with dealing damage and buying her for 1. This one's kind of interesting, where if you have all of them, and they're 5 costs, so it's hard to get all 4. But then you either you deal damage, and then you prep them anyway. So you definitely get your Punisher dice prepped, regardless of what they come up, but you could also deal damage to your opponent. Kind of neat. We have got Loki and Ragnarok. So this is the common Loki, which we have seen, but the uncommon Ragnarok, which we haven't seen yet. When Ragnarok attacks, you may pay 2 bolts. If you do, deal 2 damage to target character die or opponent. So that means we've got all the Ragnaroks, because we have that super rare now. 2 damage for 2 energy for 2 damage is fair, but you got to trigger it when he attacks. All right, we have got the common Hogan, which we've seen. We haven't seen any other ones of him. We've got the uncommon Crystal, finally. While Crystal is active, when your opponent rolls dice during their roll and reroll step, the first time they roll a character die and it lands on its level 3 face, they must reroll it. So you only get to do it for 1 character. But still, that's kind of interesting. Doesn't seem to be anything that affects level 2, because we were looking at this when that Triceratops was. I guess if they roll a level 3 and you really don't want him to get that character, then they have to re-roll it. We have got a Beta Ray Bill, common again. We have got a Searcher, Breath Weapon 2. This is the first time Breath Weapon has shown up anywhere outside of D&D, which kind of makes it interesting. So Breath Weapon is you pay 2 generic energy to deal 2 damage to your opponent and all their character dice when they attack. That's kind of missing from this description here. It would be on the general keyword. So for 7 cost, you get a 6/6, 7/7, 8/8. But then when he attacks, you can pay 2 energy to deal Breath Weapon. That's kind of neat. It's kind of nice seeing Breath Weapon show up outside, and it feels thematic with that character. Hopefully we'll see some of the other D&D keywords start to pop up elsewhere as well. Okay, Ragnarok and Punisher. So we have got a foil common Punisher and a common Ragnarok. We've got all of the Ragnaroks. We have got another Searcher. I can never remember what this one is. Because it's, yeah. All right, Searcher again, we just saw. It is the rare Balder. Finally see something besides the common. So he's got Immortal, and Balder can only be blocked by 2 or more character dice. So he's got 4 attack, no matter what face he's on, but he can only be blocked by 2 character dice. Only 4 attack, though. Is he really going to KO them both? Maybe that's not the point. All right, Nick Fury and Pepper Potts. We have got the common Nick Fury. While Nick Fury and an opposing villain character die are active, you may field character dice for free. So we had Commissioner Gordon in the Batman set that let you field your non-villain characters for free. And that was a 4 cost. This is a 2 cost, and as long as your opponent has a villain, and there are villain makers, you can field any character dice for free, including your villains. That has some potential. So you get Nick Fury out, you turn one of your opponent's characters into a villain with the, any of the globals that do that. There's the Danger Room and the Pandora's Box, Monument to Evil, and then you get to field everything else for free. So if they didn't have a villain on their team, you could at least make sure that for your turn you could pay 1 energy to field everything. That's pretty neat. Common Pepper Potts. Seen that one before. All right, we're getting down to the bottom here. I'd say we've got maybe a little bit more than 10 left. Okay, we're hoping this is the good Yarn Bjorn. And it is just a foil version of the common. And we've got the common Thor again. Alright. We have got Daredevil and Punisher. Looks like we had them in a pack already. Common Punisher again. We don't think we've seen this one though. The uncommon Daredevil. While Daredevil is active, when an opponent fields a villain, prep a die from your bag. So he's very focused on the villains. You either gain life when you KO them, or you prep a die when they field one. I guess his common wasn't about villains at all. Got Absorbing Man and Chipmunk Hunk here. Common Chipmunk Hunk, which we've seen. Uncommon Absorbing Man. When he's active, when a KO'd effect is used, you may use a copy of that effect. Now, interesting thing about that is it doesn't say that he has to be KO'd. So I think you just put him out, use a when KO'd effect like the rare Scarecrow, for example. You capture an opposing character, then you get to use a second copy of it, even without having to KO a second die, it seems like. That could be pretty helpful. There's some decent KO'd effects out there. I'm sure the KO King would appreciate that effect. Alright. We're looking for those rares now. But we got a common Crystal and an uncommon Balder. That actually completes the set finally for Balder. Balder has Immortal, and when he is blocked, he gets +2 attack. So normally only 4, but it could go up to 6 if he gets blocked. It does say when he is blocked, so I wonder if he gets blocked with multiple characters, if he would get +2 attack multiple times. Right, we've got Thor. So for a set called the Mighty Thor, this is the 3rd Thor die we've seen at all. Kind of interesting there. Common Jane Foster, and kind of makes sense they go together. But the uncommon Thor, though, that's nice. While Thor is active, when you would take damage, redirect that damage to Thor. Oh no, we did see this one. That was the other one we saw. Alright, I think we got only like 5 left. Alright, Hogan. Is it going to be the common again? Alright, common Absorbing Man. And, oh, finally, the uncommon Hogan. So this one is Immortal. And when fielded, target opponent preps a die from their bag. Oh, but he's a 4 cost. So say, why would they get to prep a die from their bag? What makes him so great? Decent stat, especially for an Immortal. I think he must be the cheapest Immortal character, 4 cost. So for all of you who are trying to use that that Taskmaster to copy the Immortal keyword, there's your target there. So all the common of these 3 help each other out, and then all the uncommon versions of these 3 have Immortal and then some other thing. So I don't think I got any of the rares, so I don't know. They must all be the same as well. Okay, Wrecker and U.S. Agent. And it is the common Wrecker again, and the uncommon U.S. Agent. I've seen both of those. Alright, 2 packs left. 2 to go. Alright, there's finally our 4th Thor die in the Thor set. And it is the common Thor as Immortal. And we have the rare U.S. Agent. That's all of those. When fielded, KO all your other active character dice. Deal 1 damage to target opponent for each character die KO'd by this effect. So you buy a 6 cost. You roll it as a character. You pay 1 or 2 energy to field it. All of your other character dice get KO'd. So you only have this die in the field. But you deal 1 damage to your opponent for each of your other character dice KO'd. I gotta say, I'm not seeing it. I'm not seeing the game-breaking combo that is. Alright, last one. Last pack here, we have got Heimdall and Iron Man. So we've got the common Heimdall and the common Iron Man. I guess we're going to go out with a whimper. Okay. that looks like it is all the packs. I guess just for interest here, we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 rares and 4 foil rares. So 16 rares total. It's about what you'd expect from a gravity feed or a display. A little disappointing that we didn't get, well, I mean, we got 2 of the energy fixtures. We weren't going to get all 4 of them. That was kind of a pipe dream. We did get these 2. I was kind of hoping for the rare Wrecker or the rare Crystal especially. So that's a little sad, but 2 energy fixtures, and they're pretty good energy fixtures. So those are probably some fun actions there. I'm really excited about the rare Spider, though. I hope I can make something work with that. And yeah, we'll see some of the other ones. We did get these 2 super rares. We may try and make some kind of combo thing work with the Earth X Thor. The Ragnaros is interesting. I haven't decided. I might not keep that one if I can trade it for something that I need. Yeah. Anyway, that is the entire gravity feed for the Mighty Thor set. I gotta say, of all the sets they've released recently, and it has been a lot, one a month for the last few months. This probably is one of the weaker ones, but it's not because the characters aren't interesting. It's just they're all so expensive, and to some extent, you got to make good stats expensive. But it just feels like outside of this set, it's going to be really hard to use these things. Still, there's some interesting tech pieces, and I'm sure I'll get to use some of those in the future. Anyway, that is the whole thing. Thanks everyone for watching, and I will see you next time.